Hi friends, it's Belinda here from Be Making Joy. I'm doing this video to introduce myself to you, tell you a bit about why I knit and why I started Be Making Joy. So first let's talk about why I use the name Be Making Joy. Well, B, because my name starts with B, Belinda. More about who I am later. I started my business because in 2020, my friends were encouraging me to start selling my knitting. And at that time, deep in the pandemic, I was focusing on finding my joy through creation and through my knitting. So I brainstormed a bunch of name ideas using the word joy in it. And I settled on Be Making Joy because I decided my mission would be making joy and sharing it with others. Once I decided on a name, my daughter created the logo for me, a bee knitting the word joy. And she's my biggest supporter. I opened an Etsy shop in January of 2021. At first I was selling physical products and then writing the patterns to sell. I quickly realized that I didn't want to keep making the same thing over and over again, so I focused on just writing the patterns. I can be found on Etsy and Ravelry, and the links to those shops will be in my show notes. They're going to be in the description box below or to the side, wherever YouTube is putting it these days. So who I am? My name is Belinda Rewicki. I live in Calgary with my husband of 22 years and our youngest daughter. Our two older daughters are already out in the world. I am originally from Nova Scotia, where my parents and all of my siblings still live. And in recent years, I became nostalgic for home. So you'll notice that a lot of my collection, my patterns have a memories of down home theme to them. Why I knit and how I got started? Well, my joy comes from knitting. I find it so relaxing and I love the feel of the yarn between my fingers. I usually have several projects on the go at the same time, so every time I sit down I can pick up some knitting. The simplest projects live in the TV room for mindless knitting, and then the more complicated projects live in the front room where the best lighting is. And whenever my hands get cramped using the smaller needles, I can loosen them up with a project on bigger needles. I currently have 7 whips on the go. My grandmother tried to teach me to knit when I was a child, but I couldn't catch on until I read the instructions in an encyclopedia, the Book of Knowledge, as a teenager. I guess I'm a different kind of learner. I needed the written instructions and the diagrams. Remember, this was the 80s and I didn't have resource to all the YouTube and internet stuff that you have. So in the 80s, I was making these sweaters like this. This is one that I made as a teenager. And I guess they're known now more as intarsia sweaters. And I made several afghans and I learned many different stitches. I still have a box of all my old patterns. I won several ribbons in the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition back in the 80s. But the only designing I did in those days was to reshape mittens for my dad because he was missing a finger. After becoming a mother to 3 girls, I let my craft slide for a while. Then when they began to explore their own interests, I picked up my love again. When the pandemic hit, I began to actively search for joy and share it with others on Instagram. Proverbs 17:22, a joyful heart is good medicine, became my mantra. Thus began this journey with Be Making Joy. Now, as many of my friends are not experienced knitters, I decided to start a blog and a YouTube channel. I realize that there are lots of knitters who do this, but maybe I'll explain the skills in just the way you need to hear or see it. I myself need to see a skill done several times in explained in several different ways before I pick it up. I hope you will enjoy this journey with me. I'm going to post a new video for you every 2 weeks. Please feel free to share my work on Pinterest or elsewhere for others to see. Click the like button below to encourage the YouTube algorithm to show my work to more people. And click the bell and subscribe to be notified when my next video goes online. I leave you with a slideshow of my work. Thanks for watching.